All right, this is section 3 of the handstand peculiar cues. We started with static handstands, then we went to dynamic handstand walking. Now we're looking at something like an obstacle course where we're going up steps, up or down ramps, whatever it may be. There are 2 cues that we need to keep in mind, but before I talk about those 2 cues, if you haven't read the blog or watched the video of the static handstands or the dynamic handstand walking, please go back and watch those. The simple fundamentals of bending the front leg, keeping hollow position, making sure we have pressure on the finger pads, keeping hips and knees stacked, short and choppy steps, all of those things help when you're traversing an obstacle. If you don't have those fundamentals down, it just becomes really frustrating when you're trying to traverse something because you have to do time after time after time again, and failed after failed after failed attempt just gets frustrating and demoralizing, okay? But once we can do something like a 50-foot handstand walk unbroken, then we want to start playing with the plates, the smaller ones, the 10s and the 15s. All right, the way we approach those is the first cue of 2, is with speed. We want some speed going into it so we can have the weight transfer from momentum, all right? It will look something like, if I pick up speed and go into this, okay, maybe not the best example, let me redo that. Okay, I can quickly get over the handstand obstacle course. That helps when we're doing 10s and 15s. When we get to the higher plates, like 3 inches, okay, whether those are steps, wherever it may be, inside the gym, outside at a school, or we're working on things inside the gym, we need to focus on the hips, okay? So the best way I can think of teaching this is what I call the handstand dance. What it looks like is you're gonna have this straddle position and you're gonna lead each step with the hips. So it looks like this. Okay, you're pretending to walk upside down, but you're leading with the hip. Okay, this is the first time I've ever watched myself in a camera doing it. But again, it looks like this. When I flex the hip forward, this elbow bends and then extends. Flex, extend, flex, extend. All right, then I can approach these obstacles and I can be much more controlled, whether I'm going up onto parallel bars or going down steps, or if I'm traversing over 2 ramps and then it goes flat, my momentum isn't out of control, okay? So what I did before is focused on momentum, just gaining confidence over bigger obstacles, but eventually we need to have some control so we can stop at any point. All right, so a controlled handstand obstacle or traverse, whatever you may call it, would look something like this. Okay, where I'm much more controlled and I'm thinking, where are my hips in relation to my wrists? That way, if we go step, flat, segment, step, or step, parallel bars, ramp, whatever it is, sorry, I'm out of breath. We've thought up in our mind, okay, I know where my hips are, so I'm not gonna fall, okay? Because my elbows are extended. I know where my hips are. If I need to get on top of an object, then I just need to swing my hips into that. If I'm going down an object, the same thing applies, but I slow down my hip extension, and that way I can kind of keep my hips on top of my wrists instead of have it so far out in front of me where I'm just kind of trying to run through the object, okay? So those 2 cues focus on the momentum first, gaining confidence traversing an obstacle with 10s, 15s, maybe even 25s. And then let's practice with the 45s on a controlled ascent and descent, 2 on each obstacle. All right, let's get better at handstands.